the next thing that it's ubiquitous in Mexican food is refried beans. And if you go to the store and look at a can of refried beans, you can't find one without hydrogenated oil, or at least bad vegetable oils in there that are going to be detrimental to your health. You can't find it without excessive amounts of salts, and also usually there's preservatives in there. And so traditionally, refried beans are made with lard. So, you know, beans, lard, salt, mash, you're done. And we're going to do it without the lard. And also, we've cooked the beans properly. So we soaked the beans in vinegar water for 24 hours. Then we cooked them at a low heat for probably 12 to 15 hours because these were a little bit bigger than the black beans. And so these beans have been prepared properly. We're not going to add lard. A lot of people think that to make refried beans you need to add a lot of fat. So like some of the cooking shows show you how to put olive oil in there and different kinds of fat. You just don't need it. Like we've made refried beans with no oil, and it's just beans, onions and garlic, and a little bit of salt and pepper, and it turns out delicious. You guys, did you taste it? Mm-hmm. What'd you think? Pretty good? Okay, so it's easy. Cook your beans. And then I cooked this separately just for the class purposes. So all I did was saute a little bit of onions and garlic just on a low heat. And but as you're cooking your beans, if you want to just throw your onions and garlic in with the beans and skip the step of using another pan and sauteing in a different pan, you can just put it all in the same pan and do it all together. A little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt. And what this does is it eliminates all those really unhealthy fats. It adds in the cruciferous vegetables, which are very flavorful. And whenever you add onions and garlic into things, if you'll notice, you use less salt because the onions and garlic are so flavorful. You don't need the salt content in there anymore. And fresh black pepper is really great for digestion. So any of your peppers, like your cayenne pepper or black pepper, they help to stimulate the hydrochloric acid cells that make the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. So it makes you able to digest proteins especially a lot better. But once you cook peppers, it makes them so they're denatured and they're not good for you anymore. They don't help your stomach. They actually hurt your stomach and contribute to ulcers. But if you have it fresh that hasn't been cooked, like this fresh ground black pepper, it's going to help you digest the beans even better. Now, if you find that you get kind of gassy with beans and onions and garlic, one of the reasons is because if you have dysbiosis, if your intestines don't have the proper bacteria to help you to digest the food, that'll make you gassy as well. So you'll find as you start to eat healthier and eliminate the animal products out of your diets and add more fresh fruits and vegetables and beans and cruciferous vegetables into your diet, what's going to happen is your gut flora is going to change, and you're going to go through a transition. And after the transition has happened, if you try to go back to the junk food again, you're not going to be able to eat it because your body acclimates to whatever you're eating. So if you're eating a lot of fresh food, your body's going to produce the bacteria and the enzymes that you need to digest that fresh food. If you're eating a lot of processed food, your body's going to make what it needs to process that. So I remember I went, I'm a nurse, and when I was in nursing school, we went to this one demonstration about raw food. And I was on a pretty raw food diet, and some of my classmates were not. They were, regular college students eating Pop Pockets and pizza and macaroni and cheese every day. And so we went, and they had a raw food buffet, and I ate it, and I was like, yeah, that's great. I feel awesome. I felt energized. The food was delicious. And 4 of the girls in my class, they got so sick. They felt like throwing up. They had a sick stomach, and they thought they had food poisoning. And what was happening is they didn't have fresh fruits and vegetables in their diet. So having all that fresh food in their stomach all at the same time when their body wasn't used to it, sometimes it'll cause that reaction. So if you are on a super processed food diet and you're used to having lots of sugar and lots of processed food, then it's best just to kind of like ease yourself into it and realize when you start getting those symptoms like kind of gas and upset stomach and not feeling great, realize that it's not because the food's bad for you, it's because your body needs to get used to it. Maybe you just need to take it a little bit slower and give yourself a couple weeks. And that happens with like whole grains and beans and fresh fruits and vegetables. Give yourself a little time. You can also go to the health food store and get some digestive enzymes to take during that first little while, and that will help you to digest your food a little bit better as you're going through that transition. All right, so that's it. So you mash that up, put it in a pan, warm it up, and that's it. How was easy, right? Okay.